Hello, hello, hello. Okay, I think I'm streaming now. Let me check it and see. Yep, I'm streaming now. Let me put this screen big so we can watch it. Okay. Get the YouTube software off. I don't. Yeah, I think I need that up. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Checking how long the delay is. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oops. It's not streaming. Something's wrong with my latency. Seems to not be streaming. Low light. What is the matter with this piece of shit? Okay, let's try refreshing. What window was that I had? Live streaming. Window didn't come up. It looks like it's 1, 2. Maybe it's the other computer's not. Live. What? Live? Yeah. Okay. That's strange. Oh, okay. It was over there because I was leaned over on the other computer. Okay. That's good. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. About 12-second delay. Okay. So how do I put the pop-out chat out? Oh, there's my stream live. Put this out. Close. I'll type in hello. Hello. And where's the pop-out chat button? It's not there. Default view. There it is. Pop out chat. Okay, that way I can monitor the chat. We'll zoom in and out. Okay, but that's fine. So do I really need... Okay, I think we're set up here. Now maybe I can turn down the in-game sound. Shouldn't affect my sound. Yeah, that's a little less. Okay. Okay, so we just died. We got a reclaimer out there, and we'll go check out the reclaimer elevator. Oh, I got external. To turn. Okay, hit divide, and my head tracking goes off. What is divide on my Azeron keyboard? It's my Azeron keypad. Oh, but I don't know what it is. I need this document here tells me divide is over here. So that would be pull back on the, okay. So on my Azeron keyboard I have, every key could be the main thing, no modifier, or if I push forward on the hat stick I get the blue ones. If I pull back I get the green ones. Okay, I was getting an echo because I had my stream going. I have a lot of things going. Oh, and if I pull my thumb out from the thumbstick, that's the pink modifiers. So num divide would be pink G. Okay, this one here. That's num divide. That's the one that toggles a head tracker. Okay. So where's the pop-out chat at? Oh, where is that window? So this one right here. Okay, this will be hard to keep. That's the only thing. I got one monitor to monitor all of this because I'm playing in. And I need to see OBS too. And I don't know why my other computer is not. Hit F5, see what happens to it. You're sign in. What is this YouTube stuff? What is all this modern verification bullshit? Okay. Let's do this. Shut down Firefox. Close window. I think that's enough to monitor this. Let's go full screen. No, let's don't go full. We'll have chat up just for when. Be nice if if you want to see chat, half your computer space gets filled up with. I like how Twitch does chat better. The streaming is really complicated. I'd have to use a pop-out window. That's not the way I would do it. Let's just pop this window out. Pop out chat. And then let's maximize that. And then let's put the pop-out chat window in front of it. There. Nice if we can get a black background for that. But it'd be nice. Okay, well, there we go. Minimize that window a little bit. It's going to be hard to keep that chat window up. Unless there's a way to make it stay on top, which I don't know of a way. Okay, let's go to the lobby. Okay, let's leave. I get kind of confused here. This is the first time I've opened up 318. So how is it I do that head tracker? Finger out, hit this, and now I have a head tracking. Okay. And then, golly, I need to put a bind on that camera switch. You're seeing, that's slightly widescreen what you're seeing. A normal 1080p would be 16 by, thought I had some dead space on my head. Not much. I don't remember this thing not having a dead space. Normally I have a bigger dead space for a vertical going up and down. It's got some dead space going horizontal. We could try recentering it, seeing if it helps. Recenter is this button. Oh. Could be that auto. I've got Star Citizen. Okay, there. Now there's a dead space. So I'm gonna have to move my mouse. Okay. I don't know if I like this head tracking. But anyway, it's working. There's TDD, we got some clothes. I've only been on the ePTU 318 for a few minutes, but it seems to work better. The mouse does the opposite thing when you're head tracking. Oh, I got the head tracker. Oh no, there's external head tracking, which would be, oh, but that would be so confusing. Shift this. That's external head tracking, which for some reason it yaws it. I don't know why. I don't know if I have the, it doesn't on DCS, but see how it yaws it up when you look to the side? See what Z does. I mean, I can show you close to what I'm seeing if I can find OBS. OBS. We're going to minimize that window a little so I can just switch between these two. By hitting that. Oops, did that work right? I don't know. I don't know. Stretch, it should be right. Yeah, you're seeing a stretched image of it now. Oh, but that's weird. I don't have my controls up. Excuse me for just a second. What? Okay, I got one more thing to set up. Not that I need this, but I like it. Okay. So we'll get off the train and then we'll set that up. There. I got one last thing to set up in my. Let's see. I'm using. Okay, I'm gonna look up here at something while I piddle with OBS. It was. It's the controls. Controls capture. It's not showing. And see, every time I do this, I have to do this. Chrome. That's probably because I restarted it. Is that window open? Did I close it? Maybe I closed that window. Chrome's messed up. Should be this window here. It's a Chrome window. I'll just have to find the window again. How do I choose a window? Well, for some reason it won't choose it. This is the window I'm trying to bring up. OBS is just a piece of shit. That's a chat window, that's that. It's just, what is wrong with that? Do I have to reprogram that thing again? It's still not working right. Oh, it's locked, that's why. Unlocked it. Now let's turn it on and off. And let's properties. Be that. So I'm gonna have to remember every time I launch this. And sometimes, oh Jesus, man. No, that doesn't need that. And I found if I minimize that, it quits working, so I just put it to the side. Okay, sorry about that. I just, plus it's nauseating to you because I got my head tracker on. Too many things to keep track of here. Plus I need to center my head tracker. Okay. Let me turn. Okay, so now what's the stream? Yeah, okay, I like the way the stream looks now. So which view is that? That's the, or, so I'm on area 18. Just made a character. Just made sure all my config files were coming in right. And made a character. Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn this head tracker off to do this. Okay, here we go. We'll go look at it and then we'll go, I mean, we really need to go to somewhere and get a tractor beam before we use it. Head tracker's off. In hangar 11. It always is. Let's see if my view comes up where she's looking or where my camera is. This is called Okay, they said they fixed the elevator on it, which was its biggest bug. It's too stressful, I need smoke. Sorry. Okay, no one's in chat. I have to look cool while we're playing. Now, I should be able to zoom out with that if I hit Q. There we go. Oh, I also made a green screen. Do you like that? What I need to do is bind some buttons. I have a number of different, well, we'll get to the ship and then I'll talk more. So we have a better panoramic view. Okay, no way to get to this elevator here that I've seen. There's an elevator over here. It's kind of weird. It comes out here, but there's a different elevator over here. I don't understand that. It comes out here, but there's a different elevator that comes out there. Oh, I also made a map of the reclaimer. I'll share that in a second, okay? I might as well now that we're getting in here. Let's see, let's put this on. Can I put this on widescreen? Oh, I need to bind some buttons to applications. It's, yeah, I want to be on OBS. Okay, so let's make sure this is working. Yeah. Okay, so see how you're getting a wider view there? navigation. Okay. So this is the main elevator that we're standing in front of. And then to the north is the cockpit on this map here. We go in here, and then that's the front elevator. So there's the flying seat. There's the two mining lasers. And this is kind of the control room. It's got some scanning stations in the middle. And then there's an elevator that goes to the rear that'll... Wait, didn't I save that? Made this thing a lot better than that. Nav 0. No, this is not the one I want to show. Let's shut this one down. This is in the process of making that. Okay, yeah. So here's the cockpit area in blue, and you just walk forward back to get to here. But then when you go down this elevator, you get to the habitation deck, and you go through this, and then you transfer to this map. You see people going around the mess area right here, but you can open these two doors and go straight back. And now you're at the main salvage. They call that the main elevator. That was that's the one that was broken, and you just choose the options there. Salvage processing, salvage balcony, salvage hold, cargo hold, and exit. I went down on the exit, and it went down. Oh gosh, I lost it. Here it is. Minus. So I'll put this map over here. But I don't think it's going to stay over there. It'd be nice if there was a way to, in Windows, to have something stay on top. See, but my screen's even wider than that. I've got another third of a screen because I'm running 3 screens. So, but anyway, that's the map. It'd be nice if I could leave it up somewhere, but I don't know how to. Oh, in this area below here is this laid out looking. See, that green corresponds with this green. That red corresponds with that red. That blue with that blue. That line corresponds with this line. And with this line here. Somewhere around here is where you transition around the dining area. And then you get to the rear elevator, and it's kind of like this. I'm not sure exactly how it is, but and then below there's an exit. I didn't draw the exit, but so you can run from, if you were in this station right here on a mining laser, you can go down through here, across there. You can get there in a minute, under a minute, probably 50 seconds after you get good at it. So I can't really leave this up unless I was to capture it. Let's see. I mean, I could put it at the top of my OBS. It takes me so long. I need to. I've got this this Stream Deck thing with 5 buttons on it. I need to learn how to use it. I hadn't even hooked it up and get the software, and then I could have different layouts in OBS and set up for those buttons. Someday I'll do that. So anyway, here's this. Let me shut this window right here. Just put this up here and we'll find it. But it would be nice. I mean, I could. What would be? See, there's no way to really What I was thinking is if I could bring this, we'll try it, but add. Okay, just hit. So if I hit add in OBS, add picture, window, it's better if image, create new, reclaimer map, reclaimer, claim IMER map. Okay, now browse. Let's go to documents. Go to Star Citizen. Let's go to pictures. Oh, I have a couple other cool pictures. Not navigation, it's reclaimer. No, it's not that one. Reclaimer, navigation map highlighted. Okay, so does shift not mess up the perspective on that? Yeah. You don't need the bottom part. Okay, then we want that thing. So where did that went up here? So look, we have to move it down. And we want it behind the video. This is where all my video is. I think that's what I want it to be. Okay. Lock it. And then let's. I don't think that needs to be open. Yeah, there we go. What's that? Oh, yeah. Just something about that. Okay. So now. You have a little map. I don't know if you can see it or not too well. You have to really zoom. Well, you can kind of see the areas. The thing on the right is the front of the ship, and then and then you go over here, reclaimer tour. That didn't click. Well, maybe it did click. Yeah, it did click. Now, why is that so zoomed in? It doesn't like external views for this. Okay. Now I'm going to get, okay, there we go. Okay. So this is the, yeah, this is the front area. This was the, there's a laser here. These are the salvage operator seats. I'm not going to hit anything here because I hadn't powered up the ship yet. I'm just going to get out of my seat. But there's two buttons on it. One powers it up and one enters the external camera. Oh, this one's got the thing on the side. Okay. Before we take off, I'll just do a quick tour of it. I hit my head tracker, so I don't know how it's going to be. But anyway. So we're powered up, but we got our engines off. And other than I can't. Okay, so there's my shields. Okay, so we'll exit this seat, and I'll do a quick tour of the ship, and I'll do it from external view so you can get a little bit better idea of it. Oops, sorry. I don't know why we're so. Okay, let me get my view straightened out. Oh, I must have hit. Okay, that's the close view. This is the far view, but for some reason it's not very far. There, that's the far view. We'll go just a hair to the right and a hair up. There you go. I don't have head tracking on, so I have to hit this to. Okay, so here's the seat there. There's the seat there, and then around here's the front of the aircraft. And we'll go. And then we came in this elevator here. And I think if you go up that, you can get to the Top Gun turret. This one's a scanning station, I believe. They're all remote turrets. This must be the underneath turret. No wonder I was confused when I saw it. Okay, so you're upside down here. That's why I was so confused when I was in it. This must be a bottom back turret, because we're upside down. And then we can enter. I think this is a side turret. Yeah, this one's really confusing for me. I think this is but see, left and right are yawing it. This one is really confusing to me. I pull forward and back. Yeah, this one's really confusing to me. I don't think I've misassigned these turret buttons. I mean, I could use it. I'm terrible with the mouse because the dead zone is too small. So this is the back, so you can face this one. All this shoots is down. That's not too useful. I don't even know. I think I'm at the front of the ship, but that would still be shooting down. Okay, maybe if I Maybe if I roll it a little bit, it'll make more sense. Now that it's rolled, it won't go up anymore. Yeah. Somehow this has got... No, I may be at the upper... I don't know how. Turrets are very screwy. And then, so that's roll. Or it should be yaw. And then this is... Anyway, enough of this. Let's exit this thing. I'm just going to exit it. Anyway, the turrets are confusing to me. Getting the exit position. Okay, so this will be a turret too, and maybe this one's a scanning station? Or is this a turret too? Yeah, they're all inner remote turrets. So it said in the, wait, was there a menu over here? Yeah, no, that's just power on. Let's try power on. Okay. So maybe you can somehow scan if you reset this menu. I don't know. Whatever. Power. Okay. I don't see any more buttons. See power on and off. I'm afraid to turn the power off. Okay, well let's exit those. Anyway, those are remote turrets and you got access, at least on that one. That one all you have access to is a keyboard. That one. Maybe you could bring up some menus there too. So from here, this is that on the diagram. This is, I believe, the green elevator, and it's called the front elevator. It takes you from the front section to the rear section. I hadn't think I've ever seen this one bug out. Maybe when I got one person on it and they went to the back and then another person couldn't call it. But you're basically going up. You don't have that little diagram, but you're going up on the reclaimer to the habitation area. And then you can just run. I said I was going to do this in third person, so you got a better perspective. In there are, I think those are drone operators, and maybe those are scanning stations or something. I'm not sure what they are. So that was the drone area we were looking at. I can't remember what this room goes to. I don't know, maybe it's a cargo area. It doesn't have any function now, it's all. And then this takes you to another door, and behind this door will be the dining area. So when I see people doing the reclaimer, they're always running around the dining area. But and they run it over there, but a faster way would be to faster way is when you get through this door. This door will stay open. It's still open from the last time I opened it. It was persistent. And then go down this corridor. So as you see, we went through the doors, which is faster, but you don't have to open the doors. You can go around the dining area if you want to. But again, the faster way after you go through that is just to go through this little, these two doors. And now you're back at the main with, oh, and then these are the crew quarters. And these are the captain's quarters. And if you're into that sort of, I mean, to me, Other than to bed log, there's not much purpose in it. Down below is more stuff. Engine room type looking stuff, and maybe I don't think there's a turret down. Oh, this is important. If you and when you're in the ship in space, if you're ever going to get out of your seat, you probably ought to always have a helmet on, okay? Because these are docking, not really docking, they're EVA. You can enter and leave through these things here. I'll just leave it open so it's easy to recognize. I mean, I can find it. These are towards the upper rear of the ship. And I always make sure I have a door closed behind me. Not that in the current Star Citizen, for an airlock, to hold the air in, but it doesn't matter in Star Citizen today because, like if I'm out in space and I get on the ramp of a ship, all of a sudden I'm in the air area. It doesn't model that, which doesn't bother me as much as other things do. The flight model bothers me a lot. I mean, what really? Oh, what was it? Oh, I'm going the wrong way. I was going forward on the ship. So anyway, there's the two EVA exits, or if you somehow fall through the ship and fall out of it. It hadn't got me stuck in the ship, and I think the first time I opened this, I think this is the second time I've used this elevator, but usually at the beginning it'll work, but after you start using it, it'll start bugging out like it has now. They said they fixed this. Patch notes I heard. Let's just go somewhere. It's still not working. Damn thing. I go the trouble to do a stream and it's still not working. Jesus fucking Christ. How can they sell a $400 ship and the damn elevator not work? I just can't believe that shit. Still doesn't work. I mean, it worked earlier. It's not working now, obviously, so. So what do? Go out in space and see if you can get bed log? See if it works? Who knows? Okay, I left the channel now. See, stuff like this, I mean, makes me say this game is not an alpha. It's a halfway done tech demonstrator. I mean, everybody keeps saying, like, an alpha, you get it kind of working, and then you'll polish it later. That's not polish. An elevator, that's a missing function that somebody bought. That's a prime function that is missing, that is not working. And I don't think there's a way to get back there without this elevator. Okay, that said that went to the cargo hold. So maybe there's some way from here to get to there. I don't think there is. I've explored this ship a lot. I think this is just another area that looks cool. I mean, it's a dollhouse because nothing really works. There's no function for it. Yes, this is, I don't know, the engine room or the gravity generator or something, but it's just a dollhouse. It doesn't have any, there's no function. There's no reason it's good. So is there some way to get, I could have sworn there's a cargo hold option, so I don't know how to get to the cargo hold. That'd be somewhere over here. See what else could we do to get this thing to work? We could launch it into space. We could turn it in. We could try it again. We could close this door and then reopen it. But there's no function to close the door. I mean, you know, okay, this is how you design something. You design its modes in probably a single player mode. Then you'd have some QA test it to make sure it works. In all modes, 2 people, 1 person opens the door, another goes through somewhere. Once that's all working, you put it in a network environment and see if it works. And once that's all working, you sell the fucking thing. You don't, I mean, their idea of selling, it's not like in DCS I can buy something. You know, I have a few things ordered that are not implemented yet, but their idea of something not working is like a small radar is inaccurate or this one switch doesn't work. Of the probably 500 to 1,000 switches in an airplane, I mean, an airplane's way more complex than any of these things. Or one, you know, maybe 3 screens into an MFD. You know, this has only got like 3 MFDs. If you look at a F-18, there's a hierarchy of probably 20 screens behind different menus, which is exactly like the real F-18. So I guess they don't have to do that much design because they're just copying. But on the other hand, this, okay, I need to, the purpose of this screen is, of this stream, is to learn YouTube streaming, show off this patch. So I was going to brag on, because they said the elevators, they said the main elevator's fixed. Now possibly I messed it up by opening up that door, I don't know. So what are our choices here? We can quick die. We can log in and out. Probably log in and out. If I quick die, I'm going to have, well, either way I have to take the tram back and all that stuff, so it really doesn't matter. We'll see if this elevator still works. This one doesn't screw up a lot. But maybe if this one screws up, we're just on a server's crashed or something. Oh, we were just told that we went the wrong way. Well, we could try it again for this one, but okay. So you need some code that reads that I click this area. And then you need to respond properly to it. And if it's a net code, if it worked in a single, it should work here unless it's a net problem. And if it's a net problem, you need to work it out. But I don't understand. Other games don't have these sort of problems that this game has, doing just implementing the most simplest things. And I have a software engineering degree. And I worked 10 years in software. Making a freaking battle space environment sim that modeled not just the F-35, but the whole battle space with all ground vehicles, all aircraft, terrain modeled, a radar model. I wrote the I pretty much wrote the radar model. Somebody wrote, see, I wrote the, what'd they call it? There was an emitter and a detector. Okay. Yeah, the emitter, and every signal we had was classified, or most of our signals were classified. So we had a table that we went to, and you'd give it a keyword. and then that table would take that keyword and look up through a hash. We also had a lookup object that looked up, that basically lets you take classified stuff that was on the classified server, and you give it the name we gave it and a code, and it would go in and get that signal. And so a lot of the emissions that like an aircraft might do would be classified, and so it looked at it, and someone wrote the emitter, and so the emitter sends out signals, and then I wrote the detector, and part of the detector was the radar range equation, and part of it was just detecting signals. And when I say signals, I'm talking about communications, voice comms. What other ways would things talk? IFF, which is very classified stuff, saying if it's friend or foe. And then the radar model, everything, if you put an object in the center of the globe, of let's say a see-through globe, at every angle of latitude and longitude, or angle up and yaw, you can call it pitch up and yaw, at every angle, if you shoot a 1 watt signal, and it's going to give a certain return in watts, and that's the radar cross section of aircraft. That's all classified, but we used, when I was using it, and I wrote the same thing for that's called the RCS. It's just a table lookup. It's basically their 3D table, three-dimensional table lookup. So there's 4D tables. You just offset to offset to offset to more things if you make it hyperdimensional. But a 2D table is like your multiplication table. You got a number across the top and a number going down, and you just index into it and find what 4 times 3 is, or a trig table or whatever, and then you interpolate the results, what it has. And anyway, I was talking about the detector, which I wrote, or maybe did I write the emitter? And the other, no, I think I wrote the emitter. Maybe it's called the emitter detector in the other. But anyway, you could have put the there's a radar range equation. You put in how far away something is, how much power you shoot at it. Maybe a couple other factors. I don't think there's any other factors really. I think it's just distance. And, there might be an atmosphere factor, a density factor, but there might not be. There might be at a minimum, it was power and distance. I think it's distance to the 4th to reductions, but and then, so if I shoot at something 3 miles away, I'd put double the distance, because I'd probably do. I think I called it twice. I had a function called skin returns that you'd put in the power and the distance, and if there's another factor, I don't know. And so you do that, and if you shot out 10 watts and it hit something, then you go in the RCS cross-section table, and it'll tell you if it's hit with 10 watts, reduce it by not 95% down to 5%, or whatever that, or reduce it by 99.9, whatever that plane's RCS signature is, and then send that back. And so that return signal has to go that distance again, and I think that distance is could be wrong, but I think it's raised to the power of 4th. I think it's the same as I think it's the same as a black body emission, which is distance to the 4th. It's reduced by, so if something twice as far away would be 2 to the 4th power. 16-time reduction in its power over distance. It could be to the third, but I'm pretty sure it's to the fourth power. Granted, I wrote this 25 years ago, so 63. And maybe not 25, 63. 58. 20 years ago. 20 years ago I wrote that. So I got on the diatribe about what I wrote. Okay, let's power the thing on and off. Maybe that'll help. We'll try that. Okay, this seat has a button on the side. Some of the seats have the button on the back. They should have standardized on that. I don't know who decided to have this method of having to push a button and then having to, while you're pushing it, because I have the thing that brings up the label bound to my mouse, so it makes it hard to move around, but whatever. I'll try to be as positive as I can, but this has kind of got me upset. And for some reason, a lot of my joystick controls, I need to hit multiple times to get it to read it. I don't know if they're not polling the USB. I don't know if that's a Windows problem. The game is buggy as Star Citizen. I always assume it's a Star Citizen problem, but there's a possibility it's a... But I don't have to hit them multiple times in DCS. So before this elevator, I sent one person over there, and then when they're coming back, I couldn't access this elevator, so it's losing track of its states, which could be just the way they're doing network communications. Things are just lost. Maybe we just have to respawn the ship. Sorry. It's just going to be supposed to be a very positive stream, because I'm not too positive on Star Citizen. I played it for 6 months and I bought a few ships. And at first I felt like, you know, I think I bought a Titan package. Then I upgraded it to a Prospector, maybe a Taurus. Okay, so let's go to a different server. Oh, I didn't go. It's going to bring me back on the same server. I should have put it, go somewhere else overseas. I mean, it's not like this game, well, people have been pledging money to them over 10 years. And I could go on and on about this. I was listening to people talk about the development process, and they were talking like, well, first you make a kind of buggy first alpha. And then you start adding stuff. But it's really not a good way to go about developing something. It's not a good way to develop an engineering system. I found it's best to make a very small scope engineering system and then make sure it works, so you're not building upon a bad foundation. Like, you know, maybe just Area 18 and one planet and another planet to show you can go between two planets. And you reduce the horizontal scope of it, but not but you try to get the vertical scope. And yeah, you try to get that working perfectly. If you have problems, you work it out then when you've only got a few things to change. And then when that's working perfectly and you squashed all the bugs, you start adding more planets and more systems to it. But I guess the way they did it was they're just adding more ships, and they don't have the basics working. And they just add more and more ships and planets and game loops. I mean, it's not like this ship was released yesterday. It was released 4 years ago. They had plenty of time to get these damn elevators to work. But they were more interested in marketing shit. No one's in my chat. Well, they said they fixed this, and it did work earlier, slightly. I mean, I just went from the front to the back and took the elevator to the ground because I could never get the ground to work before. So I guess this is their first fix of this. It's not live, but said they fixed it, and it wouldn't be. I mean, if this is a brand new ship, and now they just no, this ship's been out for a while. This thing's just the salvage didn't work, but the elevator didn't work either a long time ago. Which they should have fixed that if they're selling it to people. Not for, and they're not. I mean, if they're selling this stuff for $10, yeah, I could see. If they're selling these things for $5, saying these are pre-alpha buggy versions of stuff, that's really more of a tech demonstrator. But when the final version comes out, you can get a $10 discount on it, and no ship should be more than $100. If DCS can model an F-14, an F-18, and Apache in full fidelity of thousands of ships and radar modes and a real flight model. This doesn't have a real flight model. It's got an arcade model. And DCS hires pilots who, when they're in development, the pilots come in and test it and comment and say this doesn't work right. And they hire other aeronautics industry people, and they comment on it, work on it, and then when they get comments from people, if it's way out of whack, I mean, that stuff's classified, so it can never be perfect, but they try to get as close to perfect as they can. Where this game first is I guess people want to start with. They're trying to mimic Star Wars combat, which is a fictitious thing. But whether they're trying to do Star Wars or not, they could. I could have done a better job with it. I don't know if it's going to work any better. Now the terminal's not working. I mean, we could just be on a server that's dying. Yeah, I don't see. My prediction is they won't make 319 for their little thing in a month. I mean, if they took a year, if they were, it's still not working. It's March, and this was supposed to be out, this version, last June. So they can't meet schedules, and it's one thing not to meet a schedule, but it's another. You still hadn't met it when your stuff doesn't work. I mean, it's been bugged for a month, and it was in PTU for 2.5 months. And so I have to either conclude they can't manage anything, or just the basis of what they built it on, that CryEngine later turned into their own. They copied half that bad code or older code, and gave it a new name as they modified parts of it to work for the game. But I think part of the problem is built on that, and part of the problems is they're a bit too ambitious on their persistent universe, and combination of what's the right word? They don't have individual servers. They do it like ESO, and you just log in, join up with a friend, and you're on a server somewhere. Where, like in Black Desert Online, I joined Calfian 3 or something like that. So, or they may not have enough servers for their load, but that wouldn't be true on a test build. There can't be that many people on this test build. So, it's not that problem. I think we just retrieved that ship. Did we? Maybe I was talking and didn't. Pretty sure I retrieved it. Does it? No, I don't see a little pointer to it. What's that say? Yeah, oh, it's in Hangar 12. I've never seen it in Hangar 12. Okay, usually it's in Hangar 11. Oh, and the docking collars don't work, so it can only go to, I think, someplace in Grim Hex and the planets. You can't dock up, and there's no hangar big enough on the outer space stations, but you should be able to dock into them, but the docking doesn't work. So this doesn't work. I've tried again, and sometimes sometimes it'll go green, but whatever, we're not going to waste our time with that. So I kind of like this ship if it worked, but, and I was kind of hoping that, I saw this morning that it worked, so I took the trouble to download a third. It's the only game I've ever seen where they do two test server builds. They have a PTU and which lots of companies have PTUs, and an ePTU. So and I guess this is the ePTU, but if the PTU's done, why does it still need to be up there? I don't understand that, but maybe that's so they can test it in the, wait, I said go up. Why did it look like it was going down? Could fix that lighting a bit so it didn't. So I guess I have to transition from the dark lighting to the power on the ship. check it out. We'll just press the button once to see what happens. It read it. Okay. Maybe that's just an old habit having to work that time. Okay, so I was given the guided tour. I showed you this is the area with the 2 lasers and the pilot. And then each station, when it does 2 boxes, you need to clear out the area, which I don't know the purpose of that. We can build conveyor belts now and robots that move stuff. So at the time of the Star Citizen universe, we need human labor to do that. But whatever. Oh, and it's also simpler to make seats that I contort around to get in. Not when you start making seats in aircraft that spin around and move all over the place. That's pretty expensive because there's lots of systems with that. There's ejection systems and all sorts of stuff, and it has to take G loads, and not just aircraft G's, but crash G loads, which are about 3 times higher. 3 to 2 times higher, depending if you're a fighter jet, or like if you're a cargo plane, you got a seat that's made for 3 G's. Okay, we're on that deck. It's just blinking. It's not doing anything. Okay, I'll be ending this stream soon. We'll try switching servers. So I saw a YouTube video where he said in this version is it, I think I'm on the right build. Is it possible I'm not on the ePTU? Let's look at this RSI thing. Is it possible that I'm on the PTU, not the ePTU? No, I'm on the ePTU. Okay. I don't think this shows. I don't know where. I can't find a patch notes for this, but all I keep seeing is what 3.18 does. And a bunch of known issues. Okay, he said this one's fixed. I heard him say it. Reclaimer main on, do not respond. Okay. Okay, we got on the main on elevator. So this is just a copy paste of the very first. As far as I can tell, I don't see any somewhere else on their website it says what they actually what this version 8414091 the status of it is. Because all this looks like stuff the very first 3.8, so I don't know where you find that. Their website's so screwed up too. I think it's purposely made to be screwed up so you can't you just go in and buy ship packages for zillions of dollars, and then they have some convoluted way to get a savings called war bond CCU upgrades, all made to make the people think they can get something for cheap. But I mean, they're a very successful marketing, which from an engineering perspective, we never trusted marketeers. Yeah, I don't see anything saying what's different from this version and the version that's on the live server. And I don't think I saw a version number on this. And I couldn't find a way to find the PTU patch notes. I think you need to log in. I think they have a different web server. That's screwed up, but I think they have a different, like, oh, did I see, like the crash indication? I saw something red come up when I closed that. Oh, maybe I closed the RSI launcher. I don't think this game may like you closing that. I don't know what to do. I could try. It's obviously not working. Which I think the first time I used it, it worked. But then late in the session, it started working with, it started like I would press a button and nothing happened, so I just pick another floor. And then it'd go to a different floor. It is almost like there was a queue building up of my input presses, and it missed a few of them, so it might go to the thing I chose 1 or 2 times before, so I could just keep hitting that until, but now it's not working at all. I wonder if I got my ship in a strange state, because I opened, there's a, on the bottom floor, which I hadn't shown you yet, there's a, we might need to blow this ship up. How would we blow this thing up? Well, we can't get any weapons out if we can't. We can launch it into space and self-destruct it. Yeah, we'll do that. And then we'll do that. Okay, I don't want to lose all my clothes I bought. I think there's a self-destruct sequence somehow. I don't know what button it is, but I think I unbounded it, but I'll rebind it. Because I accidentally hit it. I think I had it bound to backspace. Oh. I'm forgetting what the... I'm getting so upset with this. Okay, normally you just go up here and this thing normally just opens. Oh, it's right here. I guess I was all worked up that this was working, because somebody said in a thing they read, I don't know where they got the patch notes at. I can't find. I hadn't tried to log in. I think I put a. I'm thinking that there's a separate website for the PTUs and maybe for the ePTUs, and you have to log into that one. And then the patch notes are there, but who knows? When I look at the patch notes, I just get the latest. Let's start up our engines. See if, okay. I'm gonna, just out of habit, I like to, I know I'm fully fueled, but okay. I always hit escape. In most games, escape brings you out of menus, but Star Citizen had to do it different. And if I hit tab to go in Moby Glass and I hit tab again to get out of it, everything. If I hit I to go into inventory, I hit I again to get out of it instead of escape. They have to be different. So I'm gonna hail comms, but nothing's gonna happen. And now if I spam it 6 times, will something happen? I think I have Shift Y bound to something else. I don't know why it won't read that from my joystick. But it will read it from... Oh, am I hitting the wrong button? I bet I'm hitting the V scan, but yeah, hell comms is inside one. Okay, I could be wrong on that one. Where's... I don't hear any communications. I see that coming up, but... my server's dead. Maybe this is just because the server's dead. Maybe I would have other problems. Okay, I don't have any clothes on, so... I mean, I guess I could go retrieve the ship, but... Poof. I'm gonna take a bio break. If these servers are gonna die this often, they need to have a bar up there to talk about the health of the server. And they need to buy some servers, but they're $500,000. And they say all you need is $45 to start this game, but that's not true. Because, I mean, I guess maybe if you were only going to do, well, there's only, now there's 4 loops that can make you money. I guess there's a piracy loop, but that's completely, that's just so specialized that it's never going to make money. Or cargo, they need to get cargo prices up and get some stability in their game. Because right now, most of the cargo runs only make like 10-20% profit. And I mean, when the game's working perfectly, as the most stable I've ever seen it, you probably got a 1 out of 20 chance of losing your stuff to like a server bug. And I'd say right now you got a 1 out of 3. But you know, to put a million at risk to make 1,010,000, 1,020,000, and sometimes the profit's just 5% of the runs I've seen. So you add pirates onto that. Why would anybody run cargo? You know, it needs to be making, like, if you're gonna have to hire a crew. And the only time piracy is gonna happen, they can do whatever they want to. They need to have stuff that makes 50% profit. And I don't. How would, I guess they could, if you were mining, but that's not profitable. I'm thinking if you're mining, there's no way for them to take your quantanium because it's not been refined. It's going to blow up in 10 minutes. But maybe they could do salvage. But again, this reclaimer's bugged and the Vulture's so slow at salvage, it's not that. And also, you keep talking about multi-crews, but nothing scales with crews. Like even cargo, you keep talking about teams of 5 and all these people. But the current pay rates in the game, you'd have to spend months playing it if you're doing things in crews and dividing it up. See, that's the cargo thing. They talk about getting escorts for your cargo, but so if you're going to put up $1 million to make 1,010,000, and then you're only going to make 100,000, and then you're going to divide it 3 ways for 3 escort fighters. That's just not, doesn't make economic sense. So there's a game loop where you go out with a fighter and go shoot stuff down, and maybe if you're good at it, you get up to the top. The top levels of that make money. I've only gotten to about a third into it. I just hadn't, and I've only put about at most 10 hours into it. I mean, it just doesn't, not that much. My eyes aren't that great, and I don't know. Flying ships doesn't thrill me that much, and just their quest. I've never been one to like quest a lot. It's you take a quest and go find something and go shoot it down and come back. And I never have liked quest a lot in game. I've never made my money doing quest. But that's just me. You know, I'm kind of sandbot. I like going to an area and just mining it, or going to an area and salvaging it, or looking for something, or doing cargo if it paid something that was worth it. But or what would really, like in other games, what I would do is you go look at all the ways to manufacture stuff, and go get the raw materials and process them, and then deliver those in the equivalent of a cargo mission. And maybe you get certain buffs that make it pay off more. And in other games that I've enjoyed, the math involved in figuring out if you're profitable is pretty, it's not trivial. Although it might be some algebra, but probably not. Maybe algebra and seeing the optimal thing when you have multiple choices, but normally it's just addition, multiplication, and taking percentages, and taking and understanding when to take tax into account, when not to, and how to treat things that you might never sell. You might have a lot, like in Black Desert Online, you have a lot of territory, and if you get this one thing called contribution, you can get workers to work it, but which you have to level up systems to get done. I guess it's kind of like Reputation in Star Citizen. Not really. Star Citizen touts itself as not being a RPG where you level up things to make yourself better. You just get better at skill, but it's not 100% true because you can't take certain missions without a high reputation. So, you know, whether you call it reputation or a skill in a skill tree, you got to level that up. So it's just a different name that they give it. But you need that to do those. But anyway, there are missions you can do, and it can be quite lucrative. If you did that, just go shoot down some things, fly to somewhere, shoot some stuff down, and collect the money. And it's a quest system, and the quest system gets bugged, and it's hard to figure out. And there's no really guidance on how to do the quest system. It's just, I don't really enjoy watching YouTube videos on how to do a quest, and there's certain quests you should take, and other ones you couldn't if you don't want to be a criminal. And I guess if I put the time in, I get. So that's one gain loop. Another one is take quest. They call them bunker missions, and go take out bad people, which is an FPS shooter. Basically, you fly to somewhere and you do an FPS shooter on, and I don't really get into those because I have other FPS shooters that I can do. I don't have to do them in space, but I do like the mining ones. And I mean, there's no real reason to explore stuff other than the enjoyment of learning an area. I hadn't done a lot of exploration. I would say the only planet I know very well is Lyria. I can find my way around Area 18 in Lorville. Probably New Babbage. Takes me. I don't go there that often because it's so far away. And so, to get back on subject, there's bunkers and combat, VFR, or whatever they call it. All these things, I guess they ease it up. You can become a criminal pretty easily and then get sent to jail, and you have to do the get out of jail or escape game loop. But so those two probably, I don't know about the bunkers, how much they make. But the VHRTs, the ship combat one, it probably does enough to earn decent money. But I guess if you are a great pilot, you could do it in a $45 ship. I'm not sure. I know Avenger 1, you know, the top pilots could do it in a $45 ship. I'm not sure if you might. But then a Gladius is a ship that's 3 times the price. But you say you could earn that in game. But how are you going to earn that in game if see, they wipe the game. You have to keep re-earning it, and they wipe the game all the time. So it's not like you can really earn it in game. They wipe the game. They're on their. They say they're going to do a wipe when this is released because people cheated, but supposedly it's an alpha build. Who cares if anybody cheated? I mean, but then they say, oh, but the economy. But there is no economy in this game. The economy's broken. So I just keep hearing them make excuses to get their marketing money on selling ships. So, you know, what I fall back to is you probably, I mean, in my mind, the only good, you know, you could buy a salvage ship or you could buy a mining ship, and that's the only way to make money. You could do pirates. There are people that do cargo, but I don't know why, because if you lose the cargo, you know, if I'm getting 10% profit and I lose a trip, I that means I have to do 10 trips to make that up. And maybe with this persistence, I mean, and I'm not sure, it's hard to tell how to even recover stuff in this game. You have to watch a zillion YouTube videos to figure out the nuisances of being on the same server, and how the markers where your stuff is, and how to make boxes to hold it, and all sorts of stuff, which I hadn't invested a lot of time into. I've invested time into learning how to mine, but I guess you could recover some of your stuff, but not your cargo. So I just don't understand it. Like they added physicalized cargo so you can move cargo, And someday they want you to go out and manual labor move cargo from place A to B. Yet they can teleport ships from one place to another. You could either teleport cargo from one place to another, or even today we have automated systems, conveyors and things like that that'll any cargo that's moved, not specialized cargo, like if I'm moving a spaceship from one place to another, but like, I guess cars, when they move them, they drive them on and off. But I bet a lot of the stuff is like a a lot of the stuff is going to have robotics doing it, which they don't seem to. There seems to be no robotics because they'd have to model the robotics. Just like I was thinking, it's easier for them to model a spinning complex seat that spins up and down and goes up and down than have you just get in a seat, design a ship where, it's easier for them to model that than do the animation of the body getting in the seat. That's the only reason they do these strange spin around seats. Because I don't know about a spaceship, but an aircraft seat is a very complex thing. It's got all your communications going through it. It's got ejection mechanisms going through it. It's designed to withstand crash loads with safety. First, it's designed to withstand flight loads, and even it's a cargo passenger plane, those are 3 Gs, but then they usually take those up to about 10 Gs for forward crash and 6 back crash and so many up. So you have to make things way stronger than they need to just travel down the road. So then, to add in some sort of spinning telescopic retraction mechanism just so you don't have to walk to the side and sit down, that makes no economic sense. That's just done, A, to make the game look cool, and B, which it doesn't look that cool. It's disorienting. Let's just leave this and make sure we're on a different server. So yeah, I could go on, but anyway, I was saying, so I don't know how much people say you can make comparable to mining. A good pilot can make more than a good miner can. I'm not sure if that's true. I'd say let's say they can make equal money, because there's some really good miners out there that I've watched who make pretty good money when things are working. And maybe it's not as buggy as mining. I don't know. Mining's pretty buggy now. So there's things you have to learn, like when your server dies, you need to somehow trick the system into getting on another server. So we'll go to another server. What time is it? 6 o'clock. So in Australia, it'll be 6 in the morning. Somewhere around then. So maybe the ship will work now. Maybe I bugged out my ship because I went down to the bottom cargo hold, and there's a strange opening in the back that when you can send this elevator up from the very bottom to the top, and a hole opens up, and I jumped out the hole and died. So that may have got one of the toggle states of that back elevator, which screwed up the other elevator. I don't know. I may have just ruined my ship. I may have to wait for them to reset it till the next patch, because they said they fixed that elevator, and since I jumped out the back of it, which I died, I thought I might be able to, I thought there's a possibility I can make the jump, but whatever. So anyway, I was just thinking while I was doing this stream, I mean, you could buy a $45 ship, but you can't carry enough stuff to make anything. Well, you could probably make enough stuff doing hand mining at the way a casual player would play it, and the way this game bugs out so much, and the way you've got such a high learning curve. In a month, you can make enough to rent a ship. Cargo's kind of... You could rent one and hope you get lucky doing cargo. Right now, there's a lot of pirates out. They just encourage pirates to take stuff. And for a while, they might be able to after a while. I mean, if everybody needs to hire a 4-man crew to do something, the current economy in the game's not profitable enough to hire a crew. That's the problem, is nothing's profitable enough to hire a crew. I mean, you know, I was doing some math on this. See, I can fill up a box in somewhere between 30 seconds and a minute. I hadn't timed it real well. I've only done one complete mission of it, and I've watched other people, and I've heard some people say as little as 20 seconds, and I've just timed it as they're on full power, and it looked like about a minute to me. But let's say you could fill up a box in 20 seconds, and then let's say it takes 5 to 10 seconds to eject that box, and a new box to come in, and you spend whatever number we were using, 30 seconds to fill up a box. And then it takes me 15 seconds to get out of my ship. And now you've got 2 boxes filled up. And the reclaimer, I think it was marketed to hold 3 before you have to manually have other people or go down there, walk over there and eject a box and move the box with the tractor gun. And then the other is it take 15 seconds to go from one seat to the other seat. I'm talking about how long it takes for a solo person to do it. So, and then the same box mechanism of 30 seconds plus 5 seconds for it to eject that box, plus another 30 seconds. And so we're now up to, if it was 30 seconds a box, we're up to 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go between seats. Maybe 15 seconds, 2:15, and then it takes a minute. It takes 45 seconds to a minute. When I first was in the reclaimer, I could, after practicing it about 10 times, I could do it in a minute. And I was going around the kitchen area. I wasn't going straight through, and I was going the wrong way half the time. So I bet you could do that in 50 seconds, is my guess. So 50 seconds there, 50 back. That's a minute 40. After you move those boxes a lot, you can get them on the grid in 20 seconds at the most. Probably 10. I mean, at first you might spend 2 minutes, but after a while you learn to walk back there. Just move 2 boxes in the general area you need, run over, hit the eject button on the other one while you're walking back to the boxes, stack them on the grid, and then turn around and take your tractor beam and stack 2 more boxes. And that's really, I bet you could do 2 of them. I bet you could do the 4 boxes in 5 seconds apiece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it doesn't take me that long to get something on the grid. And if you get your time flow going right, you're not walking that much. So I bet you could do that in 1, 2. That's about 2.5 seconds. It's probably, you might be able to average 3 seconds a box. I don't know. 12 seconds. We'll say it's 15 seconds anyway. So we're at 155 to go there and back, and I think we're at about somewhere around 2.5 to get in the seats and do it. And so that's just under 5, and then about every 4 boxes, 8 boxes, you're gonna have to reposition the ship. You know, it depends on. Sometimes I would get through more than 4 boxes. Usually about a load and a half, a cycle and a half, about 6 boxes before I had to move the ship. And that was usually 30 seconds. I mean, at first it was 4 minutes, but as you get better at it, it's a lot easier to position the reclaimer than like a mole because the turrets have pretty wide thing. You don't have to be that perfect to suck stuff up as you do to break something. And the pilot, he can look down between his feet and see what's below him. There's a little glass area he can see what's 45 degrees below him. So you could probably reposition it pretty quick after that. I was having more trouble with, after doing that long repetitive running back, just remembering which ones I checked and hadn't checked. But I did 35 boxes in 2 to 4 hours, and I spent 2 hours just learning the mechanisms. But right now we're my numbers are up to 4 boxes every 5 minutes, so that's 0.8 boxes a minute. So if we let's say we took a crew of, I started doing the math on if I took a crew of 2 with me. Minimum crew would be 2. I would still go from seat to seat and pilot it, but I wouldn't run back and forth. And I keep somebody down the cargo bay. I can't see any reason to keep more than one person in the cargo bay unless they're sleeping half the time, because it's not too hard to get boxes off that thing and hit eject before. I mean, a new box takes at least 20 seconds. So I think you can move 4 boxes in 20 seconds. But I guess the game's not working now. I don't know. Maybe my internet's down. Am I streaming? Yeah, it looked like I'm streaming. We're on an infinite load screen. I don't know. I was hoping to do a really positive video of 3.18.2. It's now Saturday night. Well, at least here it is. Maybe the game's just... But, I mean, when you first release something, you may not have enough servers to handle the load, but this thing's been in PTU for over a month. You should figure out how many servers you need. Unless lots of games are being cheap about servers. You know, they're underestimating how many servers, because it costs them money to have servers. And they're underestimating the load their game puts on those servers. And that could be very well be a Star System problem. I mean, it may not be their purpose may not be to make a game. It may be just to market a game and sell ships. And so they're always underloaded on servers. And just keep it at a minimum level. And when things get too bad, I can't figure out their purpose. I mean, if in 10 years you're where you are now, I don't see what makes you think. And you have a completely non-standard development model and it's not working. It's not producing a product, and I don't know, I thought 6 months ago, or it's now 10 months ago, that, oh, well, just the $45 game's worth it. I guess it might be. I mean, I guess if you enjoy learning a game, if that first, when you start a game and everything's new and you're confused, and as you get unconfused in certain areas, you feel progress, maybe it's worth it in that way. You'd probably play it a month and feel like you learned a lot. You wouldn't make any money, but you might make enough money to rent ships. I guess technically, if you really were a good grinder and you had people helping you, a guild or friends, so you had somebody who knew the game and they were helping you hand on hand, either like right in Discord helping you, or you might get through that a lot faster. Or if you're a streamer, streamers always have, if they got an audience of 200, they just ask a question and somebody types in do this. I don't have, there's nobody in my chat here to help me, so I have to figure it out on my own. So maybe you could get good enough doing VHR, the bounties and bunkers, to make a little bit. Make enough there to rent some things. Yeah, rental prices aren't bad. You could rent a fighter. That $45, you could rent a fighter and grind it out and then buy a fighter. You could probably, if you like the ship combat and you like their ship combat, which I'm not sure I like. I've never really enjoyed it a lot. If I'm just going to do pure combat, I'd rather go on DCS and do it. And in DCS, I feel like I'm learning. Like, actually, I'm pretty good pilot, but my combat skills are, compared to the average, if people have learned how to do it, yeah, it's disconnected. There's a 30K. Okay, whatever. Well, my internet's working because I see it streaming over there. So let's just I don't know. Maybe we'll quit the game and restart it. So I guess if you really think you like, let's say you played, what is it, Star Wars Galaxies, and you really, really like the arcade ship combat, it might be worth the $45, and you might actually be able to only keep a $45 package and get to where, once you had that expertise doing ship combat, you gain that, and when they wiped all your money, you could go in a few days and build up enough money to get a good ship. And you might not need that good of a ship to do the I mean, it's more of a, you'd earn your money faster in a good ship, and it'd be less tedious than in a Aurora or something. I don't know if you can do a VHR. The highest level bounties that make the highest money, the two highest levels, if you can do them in a Aurora or a, my gut feel is you can. I mean, they just got a little less firepower and shields than like a Gladius or something. I think you can do them in the bigger ships, but it's harder. You have to keep your distance and keep them off your backside because you can't outmaneuver them. But they have so many guns and shields that. And then the fighters do it the best, but I'm not sure if they do it the best for a beginner. I mean, I really hadn't got that good at it. So I don't know. I mean, I think I've just done the first, I think when 317, when they said they were going to wipe all my progress, I said, well, I might as well, any money I make is going to be lost, so yeah, I like making money to go buy a ship, but yeah, I'm on my 4th wipe of my ships, so I mean, it's just going to get wiped, so I'm kind of feeling like, unless I enjoy the activity, why do it? So I kind of see they wiped it in 317, but then the very first day, if you played a lot, which I played in June a lot, I played every day, and I made about, I don't know, $10 to $20 million, enough to buy a few ships. And I bought a Prospector and a Taurus, which is like $350 in ships. And I could take my old pack, and whatever original money I put towards it, you can apply towards your new purchase. So, but the 45 package is only, I think it's a $15, it's a $20 ship. $15 is for the game. So we'll try it again. I mean, if I'm still streaming, my internet's still working. Maybe this game just doesn't stream well on my computer. I don't know. This is probably one of my more buggy, but and I'm on the weekend. But how can you say a game's worth it if, I mean, yeah, on a new game release, but this isn't exactly a new game release. You know, on a new game release, the servers will be real crowded when a first game first comes out, but not on a major update. You know, and then some of the things that the Star Citizen community just says is acceptable. Wipes all the time. Money making exploits that make them wipe all your money. I don't know of any other. It would be very a few 1 out of 20 games would have an exploit that was so bad that they took everybody's money back to zero because it was so unfair. And that was on full release where the money matters. And I don't know of anybody. Well, they might I don't know. To be wiping money because things are unfair on a product that's not released. Who cares if it's fair? It's what it is the more money you make, the less ships you're going to buy. I think that factors into it more than anything else. They have to find a fine balance between not wiping you and not letting you make money, but not you getting so upset you just go sell all your ships on the gray market and quit. Because then if you sell them on the gray market, it competes with their future sales. So what server should I go to? Should I go to an EU? They're 7 hours ahead. That's prime time. I don't know if Asia's... I still think Australia is the best, but... Or US. This is the one that I had problems with before. So anyway, if you think you like space combat a lot, I can see a case for this being worth $45. Bunker missions, kind of buggy. You don't need a great ship to do bunker missions. Bunker missions are kind of like more of a way to... I don't know. You can get equipment through bunker missions. And I think a new player can make money doing it. I would rather make money doing bunker missions than hand mining. Especially if I was an FPS player. Okay, now that we have a persistence universe, let's see if this area is persistent. I'm certainly not going to throw things in the trash. It's their problem. They created all this litter everywhere. It's not... And it's their problem. I mean, maybe if they had a button down in the corner that just said garbage, dispose it. Like every other game has a way to delete stuff. This doesn't have a way to delete stuff. You have to go find a trash can and put it, and then... Yeah, you have to go find a trash can, go over here, go through that strange menu system, say hold, and then go through their strange system, move it over there, and then go there and say drop. And that's a problem they created. I didn't create that problem, so I don't enjoy taking things to the trash enough to go spend my time doing that for enjoyment. And if it clogs up their server, it clogs it up. That's a problem they created. I didn't create it. I mean, maybe they ought to have all those things dissolve after 5 seconds. Surely they could put, surely in all their database that they could count medical gowns and empty drink boxes as trash and have those things disappear in 30 seconds. I don't think anybody'd care if that happened. Okay, should I just give up on this reclaimer? It's a whole... The reclaimer kind of interested me. I'm not even bothered to... I'll give it one more try. Well, I did get my stream working. And I got my head tracking working. I don't exactly remember what buttons I've bound to it. I mean, I know I have, when I'm walking, there's a different button to make it work on see, but now it's bound for that too, so I'd have to hit shift that to turn it off for this, and then when I go out of this, no, oh no, yeah, see it has a separate button to disable it for external views and non-external views. I guess we could put on her clothes. She doesn't seem to be losing them. You go barefooted. Excuse me, I had a nose itch. You know, I also have voice attack, and I made all my own voice attack macros, but someone was using, I don't know if it's free or you pay for it, but they were using like a pre-built voice attack ones. And the thing that impressed me the most about it was instead of going in the star map and trying to figure out how to, here's the star map. It's pretty hard to navigate. This is already getting on my nerves. Oh. Wait. Yeah, I can't do this with the... Yeah, you have to scroll in. The standard in most games is, or Photoshop or most 3D packages is right mouse button rotates, left moves, but in this they did the opposite. Left moves and right rotates, and you'd have to somehow get this zoomed in, but then if you zoom too much and then choose this and then pick set route, but if you zoom too much it all disappears, and it's just, and if you try to rotate it down here, of course you'll bring it off the screen and get lost, and it's just a pain to try to find things. So with this macro you could just hit set route to Lyria, and it would rotate this and go in whatever planet system Lyria is in and do that. I need to get out of this mode because I'm anyway it'll set all the routes, which is really the only way to navigate. I have yet to figure out what the bearing and pitch means when I'm in space. I've yet to see any documentation or anything of what that means of where I am in the solar system, which in the real world you do actual navigation. Every coordinate has a location. Okay. Maybe I need to blow this ship up. We'll try that. We'll try blowing it up and checking it back in. I wonder if I could just self-destruct it in the hangar. I think I'll try that. So I've never gotten a plane in DCS that was just bugged, and I had to go get another plane. I mean, I guess it's probably happened to someone, but it's never happened to me. Okay, I have to turn this head tracking off. It's kind of a novelty on when I'm on foot. It's kind of a novelty. I find it most useful when I'm doing combat. Most of the other time it's more a novelty because I've got 3 screens, and even mining it kind of messes up with the scans. I can. Okay, so I'm just going to get in the pilot seat and figure out what button does. At one time I had it bound to backspace to self-destruct my ship. So I guess you could do the bunker loop with a starter pack, a $45 package. It's not. I guess you could make enough money to rent a rock and start. But there's, well, it's just learned skill. I had done rock mining. I think I have another stream. I spent 3 hours and make $37,000, which is not very much. But I was learning, and if I did it about 3 more times, I could make, I think, twice as much, 4 times as fast. Because I even watching, I saw lots of mistakes I was making. So this is, I'm trying to find, yeah, this menu system's bugged, but oh well. Now why is it, something went down and up? Something's just, okay. This is almost like a load screen, which is supposed to not have. So let's just go in here. See that door? It's being persistent. So let's see if backspace starts. Does that kill me or does that kill the ship? Options. Even their key binds, you have to go through 15 buttons to. Okay. Somewhere there's a self-destruct thing. Oh, it may be a vehicle's cockpit self-destruct is backspace. Should change that to shift backspace, but whatever. Powers, let's make sure power's on. Okay, I hit backspace, nothing's happening. It should say self-destruct sequence is happening. Didn't work. I don't know what lock and unlock means in this game. I don't see a self-destruct. Some things have it and some don't. Engines. I wonder if that would be in a menu somewhere. I hit backspace, which it says is bound to backspace, but apparently it's not. Ah, what do I have bound to, what they call it, inner thought, is their name for bringing up a menu. A circle menu. Quick interactions. Interact mode is F. Interact thought. Focus, button 3. Oh. That's interact mode. It's inner thought. That's what I'm looking for. Inner thought, F, button 2. F and button 2 is right button, I believe. Nope. There's nothing there. So where's back at? Right here. Ship. Weapons. Vehicle. Doors open. So there's a way. Still not working. Did I read that right? It said self-destruct was backspace. Self-destruct toggle. That means you could untoggle it. Self-destruct is normally not a toggle type of thing. Weapons are on. Said vehicles. It says it's backspace. But it's not working. Maybe it won't work in a hangar. Let's take off her clothes. I don't want her clothes out in space. Okay. The exit seat button didn't work that time. Pressed it again. Didn't work. When I spammed it, it worked. So they're not reading the USB input. Which, when you spam it, lots of things are working like that. Which is some things and everything's a toggle, so when you spam stuff you can toggle it on and off, which is kind of a pain. My inventory's slow to respond. Hope we... Did it go over there? No. No. She had 2 pairs of pink pants. Well, I've lost that one over there. But the pink pants got lost somehow. So I lost that. Inventory not being respected is something I don't like about this game. I've lost one thing. Okay. So I'm going to go out in space and see if I can get this thing to self-destruct. So a lot of playing Star Citizen is just experimenting, trying to get stuff to work. Okay. So our power's up. So we should be able to hail comms. I think I was pressing wrong. So I pressed it once and nothing happened. So, but now I'll spam it. I hit it 4 times real quickly. See, it worked when I hit 4 times. Okay, so we definitely want to be in VTOL mode. The gear up and gear down didn't work in the last patch I used, so I had to put on gear toggle. There's no way the front of that hit. Why this thing? See if I'm in decoupled mode. Does my speed go down? No. It should. If it was real physics. I don't think they do real physics here. I mean, there's a body below me with gravity. Okay, we're out in space now, supposedly. It should be speeding up. Why are we not going up? Probably needs full VTOL thrusters to go up. Okay, now if I hit backspace, I'm out in space now. I'll just do a quick quantum jump. Well, I don't know where it'll put me if I... What clothes do I have on? I think I took them off. Yeah, I did, because I commented on how they disappeared. Okay, so let's hit backspace and see what happens. My character's in that little window over there. What is it? If I hit this and moved him, would it zoom in? No. If I hit Q, Will it zoom in? Yeah, there's my character. There's my character. She's just waiting for the self-destruct. Oh, the mouse is way too... This pan is way too sensitive. I'm just barely tapping it. Okay. So let's see if we can get that elevator to work now. It's not even worth putting on clothes or a spacesuit that I'll lose. I think the medical gown is going to be my new spacesuit. I did never check it. I think the audio is working, but I never checked it. It's at a good level. I have done complete streams before with no audio. I didn't check it. So the tedious part of this testing, which is all a part of Star Citizen reality, is every time you do something, you have to go walk and ride the tram back to where you want to be in the sake of realism. And there's no sign, there's very little signs. Like, I know from memory I went the wrong way there. There's very little signs, and there's this sign here, but the sign to that sign is not non-existent. I would much rather have just take me to the spaceport an instance. It would make the game run better, and it'd make it more enjoyable for me if these were just two different instances. But okay. Well, so I guess it's still possible to mess up the elevators, but maybe we'll see if you're careful with them if they work. I was kind of doing some things that I wouldn't need to do to go out salvage running. Like open up that bottom one in the cargo hold. It's called cargo hold. And jump out the thing. Oh, and also I was standing on it when I set it off, and then it kicks you off it. It may have some if-then decision tables or associative arrays or whatever it's using that it's looking for certain states, and you're getting in a state that it doesn't recognize, so the elevators don't work. But all that stuff it is possible to debug these things and figure out what the problem is if you want to spend the time for the $400 ship you're selling. Obviously they don't think of very much of their customers to fix any of this. It's just mainly the sales is all that's important to them. I mean, there's so many bugs on ships that are sold that, and their excuse is, well, we're going to redo that someday, and we're not going to waste our time touching old code on code we're going to redo someday. So, you know, someday, 5, 10, 15 years from now, this will work, is their response. I mean, I'm being pretty negative, but no one else really is with them. So everybody just says, well, it's the most amazing game you've ever seen, and someday when it gets done, it's going to be so great. What? Oh, they still got vehicle insurance. Okay. I gotta wait 28 minutes for this. Oh, I thought we were just going to retrieve them. I got a lot of money. Do I really want to? Oh, gosh. So I don't think the cargo is worth it. Well, you can't do cargo in a starter ship. You have to save up to buy a cargo ship. But I've got some good cargo ships, but I don't see much use in I have a C2 on loaner or something else. That'll hold 700 cargo. That's enough to, if cargo is profitable. I mean, it is if you put in 900 of your money, 900,000, and then you make 50,000. You do that 3 times an hour. Problem is once he gets blown up, you got to do that 4 more hours to make back your money that you lost. And if the game's 1 out of 20 unstable, then you just double your rates. If it's 1 out of 10, you're going to lose money. And that's not including pirates, which they had this patch, which means you're either going to have to learn how to find the routes that they're not going to expect you to be on, or pay for escorts. And just because you have an escort doesn't mean you can't get pirated. It means you're less likely to, or maybe it deters it. But then your rate, and do you have your escort? You know, normally if you're the cargo owner, you pay the escort so much. I mean, is the escort going to agree if we completely fail, I'll cover half your cargo? You'd have to work that out. Either way, you cut your profit in half. So that's why I don't think, until they redo the cargo, not do something like refactor it to make it take longer to do cargo, but they just raise the profit to something 30-50%. I mean, in BDO, if something's 10% profit, I'm not going to do it. I'm just like, why would I want to put my money at risk, do it 10 times to get back, to double my money, to make my money back that I put up in the first place? You know, I mean, if I invested $1 million, I'd have to do it 10 times before till I made 100% profit. That's not enough. And it needs some, you know, the only game loop that takes time in a week would be salvage. It would be quantum mining, because you have to refine it. The one thing I do like about is there are loops that, you know, like this day, if I do this day, and then this step takes this long, you know, there'll be 7 steps, and I'll be looking at, If I put $1 million in the game, it's going to take me 10 days to get my money back on that million. And so that, then I can compete with other people because I can calculate my profit and loss and pick the best options. But there's no multi-step processes like that in this game. So until they start getting things like that, and things that a smart person could figure out how to make 50, 100% profit, at least 30%, then there might be a reason. Then there'll be enough of that for there to be pirates, but then you need more. Like, there isn't anything in video I need an escort for. And that game runs just fine. It's got a perfect economy. The only thing that forces PvP in BDO is griefers, and griefers get penalized. They can grief a few times, and then they have to become outlaws and stay in a certain region, or they're shot on sight. Which Star Citizen has none of that, really. I mean, I guess you can't go in here, but has a little of it, but not much. It wouldn't affect you. You just stay around Grim Hex if you're a criminal. So we have to wait 28 minutes. I'm getting hungry. I'm wondering if this is worth it. See, I've learned how to do my head tracker. I think I told somebody jump if you heal me, if my voiceover VOI, they call it voice over internet protocol, if that's working. I was thinking I wanted to stream, but I wanted a better stream than this. This stream would have ended up a lot better if when I went to that elevator it worked, like they said it did. Or like one YouTube said that they put in a patch note for this, it was fixed. So I'm kind of, but I can't find a patch note for this, so I have to just search all over the internet for it. I mean, I could do practice quant mining. I mean, it's a PTU, so it's making money. It's just learning stuff and testing it out. But so I guess I think they gave me a lot. I think they gave me a lot of money. I think $1 million. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they gave me $1 million, so I might as well expedite this since I'm streaming it. No, I might possibly wait. Why would it take longer if you're going to transport something? Okay, so we just got a minute left now. So I'm thinking of, I just had this thought. Yeah, if the game worked well and you could make enough money pretty quick, either they didn't always wipe your progress, or which probably wouldn't be in their best interest. If you can make money in a few days, which you can't have a game to where you can subvert the cash shop too easily. That was the problem with Red Dead Online, is just, other than a little bit of grind as a beginner, and most of the grind wasn't really a grind, it's just the game's just so hard to figure out how to play it that without playing it a while and learning all these tricks, but once you get enough gold to buy like the moonshiner profession, which is like 10 gold, which might take you 2 weeks of grind if you just bought the base game for $5. Once you got that, you got enough money coming in to buy other stuff. And once you got that, there's nothing to spend your money on, other than, I guess they put out an outlaw pass, or you buy all the professions. And then once you buy all the professions, there's gold is their equivalent of, Star Citizen doesn't have a cash shop currency system. That's kind of strange. Most games do. Most games have you take your credit card and buy an in-game cash currency that works in the cash shop. That's to confuse you with strange conversion rates, so you don't feel like you're spending real money. Star Citizen doesn't have that. That's kind of, anyway, gold is their system. And most things you could buy with in-game money, which with that profession and a couple others, the trader or the, and then just doing little stuff will get you gold over time. And there's no really, doesn't take too long before you've bought everything in the game. And there's nothing to spend money on. So their old players really have nothing to spend money on just because they never added anything. I guess when they came out with a collector roll, it was kind of stupid. And they hadn't come out with a roll since then. They've updated rolls, but they hadn't come out with a new one. And they used to have twice a year, they would have, they called it an outlaw pass. And I wouldn't have done it the way they did it. But you spend, I think it was 25 gold and got back 30 gold. And then they later changed it to you spend 25 and then earn back 25, the same amount you spent by doing essentially quests, Or no, I think it's maybe just log in every day. I don't know if you even had to do quests. I think all you had to do is just wait time, just be logged in every day once. And, after a week you get back 5 of the gold. But so it's very easy to not spend gold and to actually make gold. You could do these little, it come up, go bring some fried skins to somebody or do this. And some of them would be just trivial things like put on this pair of glasses or something like that. It'd be different. Like some of them would be things that might take an hour to do. So every day you just check off the easy ones and you get 1/10 of a gold. And after a while you got 10 gold, enough to, you'd probably at one time you'd like to get it. If a new roll comes out, it'll be 15 gold. So I want to earn 15 gold. And that new roll will make me enough money. So anyway, the game was under monetized. They could have, all horses are the same speed. All saddles are, I don't know if they're the same speed, but there's 3 saddles. One not too expensive that you could earn in game. That are, horses' speeds was like, if it took you 30 minutes to travel across the map, or 20 minutes, the fastest horse against an average horse might get there 5 seconds sooner. That's pretty negligible differences, So, but they could have started a horse breeding system like BDO had, where the actual horses you bred were, BDO has a cash shop, a money making horse system where every female can be rebred once and every male can be rebred twice. So for one male and female, they can, if you don't go to the cash shop, and then you can buy a token from the cash shop that lets you double the female rebreeds and double the males. So you'll have an excess of males, but without that cash shop token, you can never have one horse turn into 1.5 horses and 1.5 horses turn into 3 and 3 turn into 6 unless you go to the cash shop. I guess you could, the market's always sold out, but you could camp the market and look for females that have a free a breed left. But even that would cost you more than the horses are worth. You'd never make any money off it. It'd just be a collecting thing. But there's an example one way BDO monetizes. Not that I agree with the BDO has a too heavy of a monetization, like Star Citizen has too heavy of a monetization system. But you can be. What I'm saying is you can be under monetized. So Red Dead Online never made any money. They could have added houses every game. Usually you have to buy property or taxes on property or something that ultimately you could grind it out for months to keep that up, or you can just buy something in the cash shop all the time. So there's lots of ways to monetize the system without penalizing the people that don't care about this cosmetic stuff or collecting things, but yet bringing in enough money for the game. Most games have some sort of monthly pass you can buy. Star Citizen screwed it up completely with that. All their monthly pass gives you is let you fly a new ship for a month and get some sort of newsletter. So they're not making their money off that monthly pass, but ESO does the best monthly pass since all their other cash shop items are trivial. You don't need to buy them. The monthly pass will give you 1,500 cash shop currencies. And if you just don't buy something every month, if you just let them build up for a few months, you can buy everything you ever needed in that game. And it's $15 a month, or if you buy it yearly, it's like $11, which is, to me, I don't mind paying $11 a month for an MMO that's good. Because you have to keep the MMO running if it's going to be good. Now, right now, I'm not interested in playing ESO, but that's probably the best balance of bringing in enough money to keep the game running. Oh, and ESO also, and that gives you access. It gives you inventory expansion to craft. Crafting's virtually impossible. You can learn how to craft without it, but you can't craft unless you have that inventory What it does is gives you infinite inventory on crafting items. And if you're having to put crafting items in your regular, you're just not going to have enough inventory to do anything other than learn to craft. It gives you access, a type of rental access. You don't own these old DLCs, but you have access to them as long as you have that monthly cash shop thing. So there's two things it gives you, and it gives you a third thing. And so many cash shop gives you the inventory, access to all the DLCs except the latest one. If you want to play the latest all the time, you have to go buy it for $50 a year. So you can divide that by 12, and if you want to keep up with the latest, which I usually did if I was active in the game, but right now I'm not active, so I may just skip this one. And then next year, whatever new thing they come out with, I'll have access to last year's stuff for free. So I think that's a good balance between, if you're playing it all the time regularly, you can buy a 6-month pass. Maybe that's $12 a month. And then, okay, I think our ship's here now. So we're going to get these damn elevators to work. Or we're going to see if they just lied when they said it was fixed. It worked once earlier. But it worked once the previous patch. Working, it's already showed me it can bug out. I don't know. Kind of just... That ship was sold 4 years ago. It didn't have a gameplay loop. And during that whole 4 years, they never fixed the elevators. Although they sold that ship to lots of people. And they could have taken that money and fixed it. And now it's got a gameplay loop, and the elevators still aren't working. It's kind of pissing me off. And it's not like the money you put in Star Citizen doesn't even go to the game. Well, one reason nothing works in this game is they have another cash stream, their single player game, which most people, if they make a single player game, it gets money from a separate place. Like after you make Witcher and it's profitable, then you go make Cyberpunk, and then when Cyberpunk repays its investment on it, then they're profitable. But what this is doing is they're selling this MMO online, but 80% of their money goes into the single player game, which they say they borrow technology for, but most of it's not applicable because that's a single. It doesn't need to worry about netcode. So when that gets sold, it's pure profit. And every time you do a pledge ship or buy something or anything, when you spend $45 on this game, 40 of it or 35, only $10 goes into improving this game. Because they always say, oh, we're working on the other. You know, we don't have enough people to do that. Well, the reason they don't have enough people is all that money's going into their single player game, which if it's unsuccessful, it'll lose and all that money's wasted. And if it's successful, they're going to make a bunch more money. And it's just a disingenuous thing. I mean, I think. I mean, I'd be pretty upset with ESO if I knew the money I was paying them was going into developing the latest Halo or something. It wasn't going back into the game. And you can look at the staff that's worked on what, and no one's worked on this game. They're all worked on Squadron 42, which is their single player game. Which God knows when that's coming out too, but so, and that is borderline scam to me. Because everybody says Star Citizen employees, it's not a scam because they actually have people and a product, but nobody's worked on Star Citizen. They're all working on Squadron 42. That's why this elevator's, not this one, but the next elevator's not fixed. It's because nobody's worked on it. And they use the excuse, oh, when we get the game ready to go into beta, which is when, who knows when that is, and we rebuild that system, we will work on the rebuilt system, but that's almost like an excuse. Okay, this is a different ship because I left these doors open before. So in this instance, the ship, which means the server response. So I'll show you the elevator and finish my tour. We got back to here and I showed you, and I even went down that little area. I'm not going to go down in it again. Okay, the first time you have to open this elevator. I think maybe it gets confused about this door being open and closed. And we'll just go straight to salvage. So if you were doing a 1 or 2 or even 3 man, which, okay, so you have to go over here. Before I went down to the floor below that, and if you stand on that platform and send it up, it kicks you off the platform. The elevator doesn't work unless you move at the right time with it, because it moves up diagonally and leaves an opening that you can jump out of. And I jumped out of it only and died. Now that may have messed it up because the elevator's working now. So the loop is, what takes 40 seconds is travel from that front area to here, go over here, grab a box there, move it just anywhere over here, grab a box there, move it anywhere over here, and then as you're doing that, hit the eject button here, and then hit the eject button here, and then as you're doing that, with your tractor beam, as you're moving over here, move the box you moved earlier onto the grid over. I think the grid goes back to about here and here, and you can put 4 rows of 5 box, no, 6 rows of 5 boxes, 30 boxes on this, 30 on this, 30 on this, and 30 on this. And you might even be able to throw a bunch of boxes down here. I did leave out of my 35 boxes, I left one of them loose. It wasn't on the grid. It was, I think it's accidentally. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I left one loose box and I sold it. So you could probably you might be able to just throw them down here into there and just let them pile up there. I don't know how many you could get down there, but you can easily get 120 on the grid and probably 10 extra somewhere. So anyway, after you have those, you start your trip back, which I'll show you how fast it is. You just go back to habitation deck. Wait for this to go up. Elevator's working. Go straight ahead. Go through the door over here instead of around the table. Go through there. I think we bear to the right here. Yeah, it'll say the word bridge. And hit this button here. And this is that front elevator that you see on the little, that's the green elevator on the diagram. And then you're back here. So that's not that long. And then hop in a seat. And when you're mining, it kicks one box out, and then the second box gets stuck inside, needs to be ejected, and it takes about 5 seconds. Then you have to get out of this seat, go to this seat, and do the same thing, and then run back here. I'll do it slowly this time. It's as simple as go over here, click that button. We left that door open. Everybody I saw was going around the table and wasting time, but you don't need to do that. Bring a lot of water because you want to be running while you're doing this. And if you run, you use up, you get dehydrated. Go through this door here. Go through that door there. Wear a helmet too. You can glitch out and fall through the thing. And then the button is to the far away, so we go to salvage processing. Once you get good at clicking those buttons, you get through this pretty quick. And now you're back here to move the boxes again. So let's get out of the thing and we'll see if that elevator really works. I've kind of done a tour of it. So we'll go down to the salvage hold. That's down there. It's promised that that grid will be working someday. It doesn't now. Why does it go up then down? But anyway. So if you so this is oh, and instead of moving things through the elevator, you can pick up something. If you want to bring it up to the upper deck, you can tractor beam it over here, and then if you get just right, you can push out further enough and then let go and it'll fall on that floor. But before, when I had somewhere there's a use elevator, when you hit that, it goes diagonally up and pushes you off the elevator unless you actively walk forward, and leaves an opening there. But you'd have to have all your boxes down here and that open if you want to have another ship and transfer your boxes to a cargo ship to sell. And then the cargo hold, I believe, just should open that door, but it'll probably glitch out when I hit that. But see what happens. Oh, the cargo holds the deck down. So, okay. So there's a whole nother cargo area here. There's no ladders into this area, I don't see. The only way to get here is that elevator. Okay. So that's that area in front. And above us is a habitation deck, I think. Or that little engine area, engine-ish looking area. This is... And then this is really strange. You go straight down here, but I don't understand this part. And then all these little elevators that are on the ground, I don't know how to get off it and send it back up. I've tried looking for a way to do it. And they all have protection, so it's kind of hard to jump off it. So when I leave it, I'm just leaving my ship open for somebody to go and hit that button and get my ship. So I don't know how to fix that. But the other strange thing is, okay, where's the front of the ship? Over here. Is that the same button was where that opening was that I jumped out. So there's two elevators that are in the same place, I think, but are different places. Like, this is what's bothering me, is that this same area here, over here is, when I jumped out of the ship, I think I jumped out of that was open. But yet, they're in the same place here, but when I go in the ship, that opening is rear of that, but they're in the same place now. Pretty sure. Okay, we'll face towards the rear when the elevator goes up. We'll check it out. Yeah. What I'm saying is this elevator's here, but I'm gonna walk back 20 steps, and it comes out the same hole in the ship. Which I don't know how that happens. That's kind of broken to me. It's unrealistic, or it's... Yeah, so this thing we saw go straight down yet. And I'm not going to open it this time, but if I was to hit this button here, that elevator would go up. And I'm pretty sure that hole is... It bugged out my ship the last time I did it. But I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure, I'll do some more testing on it, that hole is the same place that elevator's going up and down. And above me is the floor. That's the area we were doing salvage in. Something about wearing these headphones is messing up my ears. I have to stop the stream soon. So this is towards the rear of the ship. And then on that little diagram I had, and then you see those little catwalks there. Yeah, that's that area that I told you that elevator would go up to here. And I guess the switch, before I tried it and it would go up, but I couldn't find a switch to make it go down. But sometimes that's just, you have to go watch YouTube videos to figure out where. And since I'm using these 3 screens, it's kind of messed up the field of view, and the switches are harder to find if you don't know where they are. So that's what ejects it. So have we gone every floor on the elevator? We did that, we did that, we did that. We hadn't gone to the salvage balcony. And before, if it I mean, it'll mess up on its own sometimes, just miss button presses and doors opening and stuff like that. But before, I noticed if you get two people on it, and like if I bet you, I don't know if it's true in this patch, but I know the one before. If I jumped off here and then tried to hit the button below, it wouldn't work. And I think that's what happened. It's they have to synchronize the elevator with the doors, and then to complicate matters, somehow that elevator warps. Like I told you, when you go out of that, it's the same exterior exit out of the ship, and then the picture on the map of the ship said somewhere way up there is another area that's doing something, but I don't know. I don't know how old that map was. I'm not sure if that map was right. On the one that looked at the ship with the forward on the right, rear at the left, and if you go horizontally, you're walking horizontally from forward to back. Where the other maps were a top-down view. This one was a side view of it. But anyway, it had a diagonal area, looked like a conveyor belt that went up into something over there. But this seems to look like pretty much would be what would be the rear. No, there is a big area further aft. No. I'm confusing myself because I don't know. Anyway, oh, and see how vertically expansive this is? Nothing stacks. Like that grid is one level deep. All that space is wasted. So, I mean, this is just, I mean, at a minimum the elevator should work, but there's some design flaws in this that hopefully they'll fix someday, but I don't know. I mean, they like to make wasted space in these ships. Where if you go look on an aircraft carrier or a submarine, you don't see that much wasted space. You don't see hardly anything wasted. I mean, nothing's wasted. Every space is just of paramount importance, especially on a, I would say this is closer to a submarine than an aircraft carrier in that of the space premium because things that go in space are expensive. And so you want to make whatever space you got, you want to make the best use of you can. Okay, so I think after you got 120 units, you could just start throwing boxes down until they started piling up and come out. I don't know if they'd fall out during quantum travel or not, but I do know that a loose box will sell. So sometime I'll just sit and run back and forth in this, or I'll just go on a mission by myself. I have another computer, another account I could have somebody move boxes in the back from, but lately it's overheating, and I don't know if it's the new DirectX 12 stuff in Star Citizen, or if it used to work great. The last time I used it before, I never noticed any thermal problems, but now it'll get up to 98 degrees on Star Citizen, then crash it. It'll start thermal throttling and crash, and then it's even blue screen because then after it thermal crashes, it's all hot and the fans turn down because it doesn't see CPU load. It's an MSI, and I think some of it's that, I'm not sure what it is. Okay, so that's the tour. I mean, you can go, I think there's a top man gunner over. If you go up here, and somewhere in one of the back places you get to this place the same way, but It just went up there. I'm trying to. Oh yeah, this is. Oh, so you can bypass the front elevator. Yeah, because that's no. It'd probably be confused. Yeah, there isn't. We'll be daring and hit that button in a second, but this center thing goes. But I don't know how to get to those rear areas with a ladder. Probably should add a ladder for it. I mean, it's a pretty big pain to make a trip to the. If it's the pirate patch, I probably don't want to go to. What I could do is go somewhere in mine. I'm tired. I may do that tomorrow. Yeah, yeah, it's just more of a tour type of thing. But tomorrow I'll take it out to the Air and Halo, or I could just go to Gravity Well. I doubt there's too many pirates around. Oh, here's the. Oh, I have to hit some button. Power on. This is the only turret I can figure out the gimbal what it's doing. And okay, so we saw a turret on the bottom somewhere. It had to be on the bottom because we were upside down, or the game's bugged, one or the other. See, I have my turrets on both the mouse and the. So I have to use this thing to. Okay, so I think that's a turn over here. So where's it? Yeah, there's that bottom turret right there. It's. If I can get my mouse pointer back, I can show it to you. But I can't. Because when I hit something to bring up a mouse pointer. Well, it's in the middle of the screen. It's just barely up from the bottom. So there's one turret. It was letting me choose 3 remote turrets. But I think there's 4. There's that turret. And there's a turret right there. Right in the middle. It's probably the bottom one that's upside down. We're inside the front turret. And then. So that's 3 remote turrets. And I think those are 2 turrets on the front. And where are the mining lasers at? Let's go get a mining laser and see. I think those 2 things on the front are turrets, but every turret only allowed you to select from 3, so I'm kind of confused about this because we're in this turret. We found one in the back, so we found 1, 2. We found 2 in the back and 2 in the front. If those are turrets, I think they are, but I could be wrong. They could be the. It could be the mining lasers. Those were those ones that y'all was doing. It was like in relation. Oh, it was just screwy. They were just screwy. It's like Pitch was doing y'all and y'all was doing Pitch. It may do the what's the word, relation, the orientation of the turret is in relation to the ship skin, not to the ship, which I guess that could, or maybe Pitch was going up and down. Yeah, like a yaw. I don't know if that makes sense for things 90 degrees. If I would have, maybe the, oh, I can't figure out what, because it felt like when I did Pitch, I was doing yaw. Yeah, and when I did yaw, I was doing Pitch. I don't know. I couldn't even figure out which way I was looking at. Okay, so we'll go get in this ship, um, and what do you call it? Okay, in the extraction lasers. I mean, we could try. Oh, and don't slide down the ladders. It'll kick you out of the ship every time. Or every ladder I've slided down, it went through the ground and I fell out of the ship. So we go. So we'll see if it'll confuse all the, and I guess this is, oh, this is the elevator we took up. Now this is eye candy. It's supposed to be the gravity generator. We were here before. This is the drone area. They call it the drone area. And I think those are scan stations, but I'm not 100% sure. And then we'll see if we hit this button, if it'll call the elevator. So they really haven't fixed stuff. No, it's not calling the elevator. Yep. Probably best not to. Well, the other elevator it didn't have an up and down option. It only had a this would, if we went on it would bring us down and you'd move it that way, but I don't know. We'll take the way we got on this. Oh, I just about slid down the elevator, which out of habit on a mole, but that would have put me through the thing, even moving fast on those steps. I was in the mole 2 days ago, so I was doing it the way I do it in the mole. So if we go, the ship turrets were over here. Well, those might not be guns. They're in about the same place. And I thought those remote can't. So somewhere there's a third gun. We'll see. We'll just get in it and see. I guess I did never show this. The first time you get in it, you have to power it on, and then you won't have to power it on after that. But every time you have to click this button. And now you've got maybe those. Oh, I'm trying to see if I can figure out where we're on the right side of this. I thought that was lower up. That. Well, those are guns. I don't know where that laser is, but I think it is. You can see them pretty easily when you're. Those are definitely guns right there. Oh, there it is, right there. Okay, my joysticks. It's not yawing, but it should be. You can see the two lasers right there. They aren't responding, but you see them right below the cockpit. I forgot the button for. It's. like in the middle of the screen. The one on the right and one on the left are the two lasers. And for some reason they aren't moving when I move my joystick, but they should in external view. But oh, it's because when I go in external view I leave that mode. I leave that remote turret mode. Okay. Well, these are the only turrets I've got in any ship that I don't just get completely confused what they're doing. Oh, and the trawler module is, although it's bigger, I'm 99% sure the braid works faster and is more efficient. Because if you take the diameter of each one and square it, you can multiply it by pi if you want to. And then just do it when you compare it with the other. Or you can not multiply it by pi. The proportional answer will be the same. And then multiply it by the speed. And multiply it by the efficiency. Just take the diameter squared because it's the speed across that area. The braid will come out with a higher number than if you do the same thing with the trawler. Because the braid is, well, I couldn't figure out a way to select. Oh, I had a button. I have to sign it. Something. I don't think I've salvage. It says cycle left salvage and cycle right, but they're top and bottom. Oh well. And cycle, is it? I'm not sure if that's the right word. Cycle means like toggle. Why is it not reading my damn button? This thing's starting to piss me. This game's starting. All this spacing stuff is not applicable for the mole. It's not reading my button. It's pissing me off now. I got these control panels. Can't figure out what to put on. Why is it not reading that? Oh, it's because I'm on keypad. Okay. Salvage. Such a complicated mechanism for doing this. It would have been smarter. I don't know. Oh, if I switch applications, it'll get out of this menu. Put this on the left. Button 47. Button 48. Okay. It's 1949. I just date whatever I save and use the latest one. You have to save it so often, it's no reason to put a description in. Okay, so yeah, there's a trawler. Trawler is a lot bigger in diameter, 3.5 versus 6. A trawler speed is slower by a lot. It's 1/4 the speed. And the trawler efficiency is less efficient. But the difference in diameters, made it okay that a braid should be faster if speed means velocity, not mass. Which you would think it would mean, because you would think it would mean that. Not area flux rate, but it's velocity flux rate. Those are kind of engineering terms, but you can think of it like if I had that big area down there, that big ellipse we see, that circle. Are we talking about the speed to move everything across the area, or just the velocity of each particle? If it's the velocity of each particle, we would multiply it by the area, the diameter squared, times 3/4 pi over 4. But you really, to make it proportional, you don't really need to do that. You can just do the squared relation if you're just comparing two things. And the efficiency would be how much is lost. So the braid is more efficient and it's faster, I believe. But I hadn't tested that, so I'd have to test it. But I did think I see. But the trawler covers a bigger area, but you're not getting as much. You're getting more waste, and it's actually taking you longer. You have to move your... I guess you might go faster if you couldn't accurately move the head that fast. I mean, it might be the others faster, because this thing will only, well, it won't toggle that fast. But if you're far away from it, you can cover a ship. I mean, it's covers a lot. I felt like I didn't, like the mole, I feel like I need to be positioned perfectly to use. And I didn't feel that way with this. I think this ship was... I have a chart. I have a picture somewhere that tells that, but I don't think I'll bring it up. But it tells the size of the ship. But anyway. So we'll get out of the ship. So we'll just hit the button once and see if it recognizes it. Yeah, it did. And so when I get in it the second time, it'll be powered up. It's just the first time. Well, I wonder what happens if I don't even get in it. No, it won't let you enter that without getting in the seat. And I could have messed it up by hitting that. This thing seems to have toggle states. If you press the buttons, it doesn't expect you to. It'll put you in a strain. But no, that didn't happen. Okay. So I didn't have to power it up, is what I'm saying. But the first time you have to hit the button up here to power it up. Okay, that time I hit the button exit and didn't exit. That time I did too. Now I'll spam it, and it finally reads it. So I don't think I've gotten in this one yet, so I have to power it up for the first time. I mean, I don't know if I have to power it up or not. I think I do. It stays powered up after I powered it up. So now we're on this side of the ship. Yeah. And then on the left, oh, I think that top button tells you how fast your extraction rate. I forgot what it tells you. And then the bottom bar is how close you are to filling up an SCU. And then that little circle will fill up to 100% if you can get a full extraction rate out of it. So some areas you may have, your laser head may be covering areas that are half, or it's poor quality stuff, so it'll only be taking it at half rates. So anyway, so that's the Aegis reclaimer. I don't know much else to say about it. Then I wonder if it'll be messed up if I guess the first person would need to get in if you got a crew getting in it. And I don't know if it'll, I still don't know. I'm not 100% convinced these elevators are working right, since the ship got confused when I jumped out that one elevator. It might get confused this time when I'm going to exit out the rear elevator, and that might confuse it next time I get in it. And the thing is, they have elevators working doors, and they have control panels that are working doors and elevators, and it's getting confused which one it wants to do. So, and I'm going to exit this ship and then call this a stream. We spent most of the stream until we blew up the ship. It didn't work. And you know, that blow up the ship, a beginner Star Citizen player is not going to know that. And they're not going to know about servers going bad and all sorts of stuff like that. And it kind of bugs me. I've got a number of ships that send elevators down that there's no way that I can figure out to send the elevator back up, which means I'll have to test that. That another player could come out and just steal my ship. I don't really like that. What other ship has that? This guy could. Is he just a random guy, or is he? So that's the reclaimer. And I don't think you can get in that area to the rear. Oh, and there's also a big arm that'll work someday. You probably know this if you're not new to the game, but that big arm, the seat to the right, the seat to the right of me when I was in the pilot seat works that big arm that it supposedly can come down and crush things, but that's something promised. It took them a long time to, I don't know what that is. Some sort of crusher mechanism? I don't know. Maybe that arm pivots on a huge thing. I don't know. It's all promised things, which Star Citizen's pretty slow at completing their promises. So I guess if you want to, yeah, I guess what I was talking about earlier about the game being worth $45 because you can earn your ships in game. I just thought of this. Yeah, you can, but you know, if I got a cheap ship and wanted to do some industrial stuff like mining, I think by the time I got my money up and got going, I get to play with that new thing for a little while, and then they'll wipe it. And they're doing wipes a lot now lately. Ooh. Also did get, I bought the Galaxy, and I should have a Carrack as a loaner, which should give me an Ursa Rover and a Pisces 8 as a loaner, and I didn't get them. And I was reading the forums, and everybody's saying, "Oh, that's not a bug. In PTU, you don't get loaners." Where I have, well, I'll just say that my Mule and my which I have, and my Prospector are loaners too. So you do get. First, you do get loaners. You just don't, on some ships, get loaners. And they're saying it's not a bug. And I was like, well, when I bought the Galaxy, and the current loaner matrix says if you get a Galaxy, you get a Carrack loaner. And it doesn't say in fine, it has a lot of fine print about you can't get two loaners and this and that and the other. But one thing it doesn't say is not all loaners are available on the PTU. And for most of my loaners I wouldn't care about. But, you know, I may CCU that Galaxy up to something else and not keep it and just get a Carrack. I'm not so sure I'd rather have a Galaxy than a Carrack. And so that loaner's pretty important to me. I never would have bought that Galaxy if I felt like that loaner's going to go away. I think some of these are things they could actually be sued on, you know. If they take, like, let's say you buy this ship and they change the loaner. Why they're spending 5 years to get it out of concept, and then they change the loaner to a lesser value loaner. I think your original contract would be what the loaner matrix was when you bought the ship. But I don't know. And they may have legal jargon that says we can substitute anything, but I'm not sure if a jury would rule in their favor on all that. Well, they fall back to, you didn't really buy anything. This is a pledge, and we were, out of our kindness, gave you this ship. But, and that would probably work for, you know, if they were just starting up and had a small office and were a small gig company getting started. But after you've made $500 million and delivered a tech demo with a few gameplay loops and a lot of, I mean, the ships you sold to people, and then all that money's been funneled over to another product which you'll get to sell someday for a lot of money. You know, their arguments don't hold up that well. So anyway, I'm going to cut it out with those words. That whole elevator not working just got me in a really bad mood. So if you watched, thank you. And I'm going to end the stream now. Goodbye. Or if you watch this in the future, I don't think anybody watched it. Or nobody chatted. Oh, how would I know if I had 3 views? Okay. They probably came in when I was being all negative. I'm not sure if my three views aren't just another computer I have turned on, and